One. Okay, how y'all doing? We're live right now with Golden Boy's newest signee, Sulem Urbina, who campaigns out of the super flyweight division. She has a professional record of 12-0, 2 KOs, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I guess the first thing I wanted to start off with is a lot of topic that a lot of people have on their mind right now, and it's the situation between the Zone and Golden Boy, and how that affects you as a fighter. The fact that the Zone is only committing to 2 shows for the remainder of the year. If you could just elaborate on that and how that affects you.
Well, I was fortunate to be able to fight on before the pandemic started in February. So I'm very glad that I was able to get in the ring before everything started with the pandemic. Now, as far as 2 shows, it hurts me in particular very much because Marlene Esparza, her bout has been postponed twice already. I mean, it went from August 27th to September 19th to postpone again. Now we don't know when she's coming back. Golden Boy plans on having a woman on the broadcast every single fight show. So it hurts because after myself, it was supposed to be Franchon Cruz, then myself, then Sinisa. So I mean, we're all backed up right now. We don't really know what's gonna happen, and I mean inactivity hurts us very much.
Yeah, because I noticed that, some of the boxing fans, they don't realize that there's like more going on than just Canelo. That it affects a lot of other fighters that are on the stable. It's not just about Canelo. I mean, he's the headline of the story, but the fact that DAZN is not committing to more than 2 shows, that means a lot of fighters don't get to fight. A lot of people don't get to make money, and I don't, me personally, I know that that's no laughing matter. If your trade is being out there and fighting, then there's nothing funny about that when the fighters can't fight.
Well, you know what, Canelo, he's made his money. He's made his name. He has his recognition. A lot of us that are, barely scratching the surface, like myself in the pros, I was hoping on getting some hardware this year, and now I don't really know what's going to happen. Obviously, not only the pandemic, but the fact that the zone is having all these issues, it worries me tremendously. I mean, ever since I started reading all these tweets and seeing all these things, I'm wondering what it exactly is going to mean to the rest of us in the stable. As a woman, it's 10 times even harder, and the fact that this is going on, it can be very demoralizing. I was sparring and training yesterday, and all I could think of, what's going to happen.
Mhm.
What's next for me? I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean that's the reality of the situation. That I noticed the comments that ensued after news broke that he was going to be pursuing suit against his own and against Golden Boy, and everybody was just focusing on him, not realizing that reverberates to the whole stable of fighters. Anybody that would have been fighting on the zone under the Golden Boy banner, they're affected by this, and it's cause for concern, especially for the fighters who want to get out there. You just signed a Golden Boy, correct?
Correct. That's correct. I just a few days ago we made it official and announced. Now my announcement hasn't been officially made on Golden Boy Twitter or Instagram yet because of everything that's going on. Um, Once everything calms down, they'll announce it. But I mean, it's scary. Like you said, everybody's talking about Canelo this, Canelo that. But for us, the small fish in the big pond. Um, Not a lot of people say anything. Yesterday, I specifically tweeted, I'm worried about us little fish in the big pond. Like, what's going to happen? We have no clue. I just hope everything's resolved soon because at the end of the day, time goes by fast. We're not getting younger, and I just want to fight. I need to start, getting that hardware. I want to be a world champion.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. And hopefully, Indio, everything will get resolved. I wanted to ask you while you're here, one topic that's really going around a lot in your sport is the 3 minute round. Some people say that women should be able to fight for 3 minutes, but there's a separate argument there. Pardon me, I was about to speak Spanish. Um,
It's okay.
yeah, I do that a lot. I'm sorry. if you want girls to fight for more than 3 minutes, then there should be more money because that's more work. Where do you stand on that particular issue? Do you want the 3 minute round?
I want the 3 minute rounds, and I also want more money. I mean, I mean, it's more work. Honestly, I've been training for 3 minute rounds since I was amateur. I mean, that's how gyms are set up. The 3 minute rounds. That's how you train. But I do believe in my fights. I've gotten to the point where I hurt my opponents. I hurt my opponents very often, and then the bell rings. 2 minutes isn't enough time for me to get a knockout. And if you want to see those knockouts, I mean, you do need that extra minute. Now, I do understand. I'm not a doctor. I do understand that physically, men and women, we're just different. You don't need to be a scientist to know that we're made differently. I don't know a lot of the studies that suggest that we're more prone to concussions and whatnot, but I do understand that when you repeatedly hit somebody and you keep hurting them throughout the whole fight, it's worse than them getting knocked out early on in the fight. For me, at the end of the day, I'm going to fight with whatever it is that I'm given, whether it's 2 minutes or 3 minutes. As a fighter, we always want to fight more. Not sure if that's, what's best for our health, but that is what would be a huge difference in, our KO percentage, the fan base. A lot of fans criticize us for fighting 2 minutes. They say, women want to be treated the same, but they don't fight 3 minutes. So, I mean, that would obviously be a plus. And, well, I think we're moving in the right direction. We're finally getting that viewership here in the U.S., which is what we need. And hopefully we just keep on growing.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've heard different sides of that argument that, well, a big part of the marketing would be seeing more knockouts in the sport. But in order for you to get those knockouts, you might need that extra minute to, do the work, and get the girl out of there. Because I've seen it a lot of times. Some girls are saved by the bell. They'll be hurt. And ding, 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 back to the corner.
Yeah, and then they go back to the corner, they recover. Then you hurt them again right before the next bell, and they recover, and they keep recovering. I mean, that happened to me in my last fight. I must have hurt my opponent about 4 times, and then the bell rung. I mean, I needed that extra minute. Obviously, I think that for us to, Sinisa had a fight not too long ago, and regardless of what it is, she got the knockdown, and it benefited a lot. It played on ESPN. It played everywhere. It was on social media everywhere. I mean, you got on any timeline, and it was there. Everybody was talking about it. Good or bad, it was good. I think we need to, keep getting those knockouts to, get up there like UFC did with women. UFC did a great job with women. They did a great job. A lot of people view women in the UFC like the elite, and that's how we want to be viewed also,
Yes, I'm gonna speak Spanish because it keeps happening. Keeps happening.
Go for it. I speak Spanish too.
Yeah, because I'll be forgetting sometimes. Pero lo que yo iba a decir es que yo vi que había mucha gente criticando ese knockout de Cenicia. I was thinking like, pero you can't, like, who are they expecting her to fight in the middle of a global pandemic? She can only work with what she's got. Like, there's a lot of travel restrictions. The original girl que she was gonna fight, ella no podía venir. Algo le pasó. Something happened. So Miranda stepped up. There's no reason, to me, there was no reason to criticize Cenicia.
Let me tell you something. You know what? Edgar Berlanga, 14 KOs in the first round. His last fight, his opponent didn't throw one punch. But nobody criticizes it. Nobody says anything. Everybody's absolutely okay with it. The kid is a beast. Mm-hmm. But because we're women, because Cenisa's a woman, because she fought another woman, I mean, everybody's outraged. Mm-hmm. They look at women different. It happens all the time. I mean, I'm going to be honest. How many paisanos don't you see that they bring across the border to come and lose a fight on small club shows? And, they're just there to cash that check. and they go down in the first round. Nobody says anything because they're men.
Es verdad. I think oh, there you go. Yeah. But yeah, you're right.
And
Muchas veces yo he visto que hay un tipo ahí que no tiene un chance ni nada para hacer nada y knockout en el primer asalto. Nobody gets outraged because you know what it is. Eso fue la misma vaina con Cenicia. Eso no es culpa de ella que esa tipa, tú sabes, she's working with what she got. She's a fighter. She has to make money. If this is the girl I got to fight, so be it. There's no cause for criticism.
And here's the thing. Everybody criticizes the matchmaker, the commission, the this, the that. At the end of the day, that was a grown woman that took that fight. You know, that was a grown woman. She knew what she was stepping into. And, hey, it helped us. At the end of the day, it helped us. Like I said, Sinisa made it on play-by-play, everything. So, I mean, hey, it was great. It was a great day.
No, it was. To me, like, how often do you get to see un knockout así en el deporte de women's boxing that it's like, yo, that I don't care what nobody say, that shit was dope. She pieced her up, pam, 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 got out. That shit was dope. Like, I don't care what nobody say. That was dope. That was good for the sport.
Honestly, it would have probably taken me. It took her 7 seconds. It probably would have taken me 9 because I would have gone in with a few jabs measured and then, gone off. So, I mean, I was happy for Sinisa. At the end of the day, she did her job. Everybody can talk. They can be a little hypocritical at the same time. Like I said, a lot of these people do small clip shows and they bring, tomato cans or whatever from all over the place to come and lose. But nobody says anything. That's okay because they're men.
Es verdad. Eso sí es la verdad. I can't tell you how many fights I've seen like that. Que ya tú sabes, before the bell rings, dog, you already know, like, bro, this dude is here to lay down. Nadie dice nada. Pero si una mujer, oh, this is wrong. This is like, I even saw it on UK broadcasts over there in Inglaterra that they was like, oh, that's a travesty. That shit. Like, bro, how many times have you seen that in men's? We've seen it more in men's boxing, actually, than we've seen it in women's boxing. So what are you talking about, bro?
Women, honestly, most of the time we're very evenly matched. And the men's, you see how they take care of the men right off the bat. Like when a prospect turns pro, oh, they're taken care of. They go in there. That's why most of these kids have knockouts.
Exactly. A hefty knockout, real. Like, if you know the sport of women's boxing, you know that it's not unusual for a girl who only has maybe 6, 7, 8 fights to fight world-class fighters, because in women's boxing, you don't have the luxury of the stat padding all the time. You don't have that luxury. Say, if there's an opportunity, you got to take it. And a lot of times, the girls take it. It's dangerous, but the girls take it.
Hey, women fight anybody and anybody, anywhere, any place. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Like one of the guests that I had on in the last show that I had, the last live, Melissa Saintville, she went all the way to Belgium, I believe it was, to fight Delphine Passoon. That's girls do that all the time, dog. They take the big chances. That's why I'm like, yo, I don't know why they was criticizing her for that knockout, bro. That was a good knockout. We see knockouts like that all the time in men's boxing. Nobody say nothing. Nobody gets on a high horse and start talking this and that. So, para mí, ellos son unos hipócritas.
It's true. I'm 100% with you on that. It's like a little bandwagon. It's like a little social media bandwagon. They all got to jump on,
Mm-hmm. Now, one other thing I wanted to ask you about is the conversation regarding the aesthetics as a marketing tool in women's boxing. Do you feel that as a woman and as a female boxer that it's wrong to use your looks as a marketing tool to sell tickets?
No, not at all. I mean, I think me for myself, I'm an okay looking woman. And besides being a boxer, I'm a woman. I mean, I love to dress up. I love to wear heels. Outside the ring, I can wear whatever the hell I please. I love to weigh in bikinis, and it's my little distraction from weigh-ins, to feel pretty after a long camp, being in sweats and working out and all the time. It's actually something that I do for myself. But I mean, it helps me with marketing. I see nothing wrong with it. As long as the skills back it up, hey, go for it. Hey,
that's the same thing I thought, that like, yo no veo, like, I don't see because I've seen a lot of conversations about this in reference to a particular fighter, and to me, I didn't really understand, like, how is that wrong? Whatever sells tickets, whatever gets people to watch, that brings money into the sport. And more money into the sport is a good thing. More opportunities for the fighters, more platforms for the fighters to fight if more people are watching. And si ellos están mirando por un bikini, hey, whatever, bro. Ratings is ratings.
Exactly. I mean, hey, as long as looks are not going to help you inside the ring. As long as you can fight inside the ring, it doesn't matter what you wear outside. If you're pretty, if you're not, it doesn't matter. As long as you got the skills, I mean, do whatever you got to do outside the ring to market yourself. I think me, for myself, it's a huge part of who I am. I've been on TV almost every single one of my fights on national TV, and on Box Azteca, on the Zone, on Facebook Watch. I'm very marketable, and I'm gonna use it. Why not? Hey, I have the skills to back it up. I know I can fight. I have a great amateur background. I competed on the international Mexican team. I put in the work. I know what I'm capable of. My looks. Hey, it doesn't take away from my boxing, because once I step into the ring, I get the job done.
Now, the next question I want to ask you is about your division. In your division, the world titles are split 4 ways. There are no unified champions. There are 4 separate champions. So which world title are you closest to challenging for? The WBC, the WBA, the IBF, or the WBO?
I believe I'm number 4 by the WBC, and on the other organizations, I'm between 5th, 6th, and 7th. So I believe I'm gonna be going for the WBC against Ibeth Zamora. She's a world champion that helped me back in my days as an amateur in Mexico City. I feel that it would be a great fight with her. She's one of the most solid champions. She was a mini flyweight champion for many years, and then she moved up to 112. And she's been there. She's number 1. And I hope I get the opportunity to fight her, because I know that I can beat her, and I know I can get that crown.
Now, after, hypothetically speaking, if you beat Ibeth Zamora Silva, do you try to unify after that, or do you? So that's the goal.
Yes.
Get a belt.
Yes, I want to unify as soon as possible. I mean, there's 2 girls out of Argentina, and then there's Naoko Fujioka that has the WBA. I want to unify. I mean, that's the goal. You want to be the top dog. With so many belts out there nowadays, and then interims and regulars and all that, you're not the top dog until you're at the top. That's the way I see it.
No, yeah, you're right. The 2 girls. Go ahead.
You can collect hardware, but unless you're the top dog, don't call yourself the top dog yet. You have to be the very, very top one at each, whatever is WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF. You have to be that one at the top, and then you can call yourself a world champion. Interims, regulars, none of that. I don't think it's, they should be considered world championships. And then once you're at the top, then you're that top dog at that organization, and then you unify to be the top dog in the whole division.
I wanted to ask you about Naoko, because I saw Naoko after the Estrada versus Miranda Atkins fight. Naoko was talking about she want to come to the United States. She would like to fight here, and I was going to ask, because Naoko has a lot of experience. She's a 4-division champion. Currently, she's WBA champion at the weight. That's a fight that you would take on.
I would, definitely. I think she's a very solid champion. She's a huge flyweight. I mean, she's tall, she's lengthy, she's strong. She's older, but like you said, she's been around for a while, and I believe us women, we take care of ourselves a little better than the men, So that's why we have a little more longevity in the sport. But definitely, I mean, hopefully I get the WBC, and then we can unify.
Ooh, now I have one more question. Little bit of a hot potato, right? Is it possible that you, Senicia, or Marlene could fight? Because you're at or around the same weight, and you're on the same stable.
I think that's the plan with Goldenboy. I think they want to do a little mix-up right there. I think they want us all to get belts and then unify. Hopefully, the one with Marlene happens sooner than later. I think, she beat me in the amateurs. She was on Team USA, I was on Team Mexico, and it's a fight that definitely needs to happen. I feel that in the pros, I'm better off now. The pros have benefited me a little more in the way of my style. Um, I when I fight Marlene, I know that I bring out the best in her. She knows me very well. I know her very well, and expect fireworks because that's going to be a great one. Definitely, it's going to happen. And with Sinisa, definitely also. I mean, hopefully we're at the top and we can get some good paydays because I think we deserve them.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. And all three of you are actually very marketable fighters. Like I could see you on an Adidas poster. I could see Marlene or Sinicia on a Nike and Under Armour. That's why it's confusing to me that the sport doesn't have like more money coming into it because many of the fighters are very marketable. Like you could put them on a poster. They could sell shoes. They could sell fights. You know what I mean?
I think USA is barely playing catch up. You go to other countries and like Mexico, Europe, Asia, Argentina is huge with women. They support women so much. They're always on TV. Their fights are always the main events or co-main events. Here in the U.S., it kind of fell off the map after, Christy Martin, Layla Ali, and I think it was, just a sleeping dragon, and it changed a little bit once all the elite girls from the amateurs turned pro. Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields have done a great job, and not only them, but, the women that have been in the post for a while, like one of my favorites, Amanda Serrano, she's a beast. It's an accumulation of all the women coming together. It's not just one woman doing everything. All these women are doing a great job and making it great for us. And as long as these promoters keep putting us on these big platforms so that people see the talent, they see that women can fight, so that they see the knockouts, so that they see good competitive women's fights, that's how we're going to keep on building.
Yeah, because I noticed like in Mexico, you have Arely Muciño, you have Barbie Juarez, you have her sister, I believe her name is Lourdes, you have Bonita
Lulu.
Fernandez, and they fight on TV. Like they fight on TV, and it's good fights. Like Juarez versus Bermudez. Like Mexico has a great rivalry with Argentina. You know what I mean? They've had a couple of scraps, real good scraps, and I'm like, yo, dog. In every other country around the world, it seems, except the United States, they're like, yo, they put the girls on TV. It's nothing. In Poland, they put the girls on pay-per-view. And then I heard in Norway when Cecilia Brækhus was undisputed, they put her on pay-per-view and people bought it. 10,000 people came to the fight. I believe it was the Sophie Ann Matisse fight. Only in America does it seem that it's like a couple of steps back.
Exactly. I think America is very, how do I put it? They're always wanting to say they're the first, but they're not. There's a lot of things that, they come in, very last place. They're not, up there with everybody. And women in sports is one of them. I'm in Mexico and I'm loved. I'm respected. I'm looked at like I'm a big fish, Here, I'm a small fish in a big pond. Not, I was fortunate enough to debut on Box Azteca. I had Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. right there on telecast. Every single fight. That's huge. For me, that was huge. And I don't think I would have been able to do that here in the U.S. I'm very grateful that I started the way I did in the pros in Mexico, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be Mexican when it comes to boxing.
It's true. It's true. No, it's true. Not for nothing. If I have to choose between listening to Julio, because I love watching, I love hearing him call a fight though. Like él se tan emocionante que se pone. Ah, porque yo,
me puse nervioso. He says the craziest things, man.
Yeah, though.
He speaks the truth.
He's the, like, if I have to choose between him and hearing, I'm gonna hear Julio, dog. Because even when Joshua fought Ruiz, I believe it was, I think they had Julio calling the fight in español. I watched it in Spanish, yo. Like I was outside watching on my phone, pero Andy, pero cómo I was like, yo, dog. It was wild.
The culture in Mexico is just it's so different. You know, the passion that they live boxing with. It's like every Sunday is football day here and church day. Every Saturday night is boxing in Mexico. Everybody has Sábados de Boxan or Box Azteca on, one of the two. They're always going head to head, and it's religion. Boxing Saturday nights is religion in Mexico. Every single home in Mexico is watching boxing.
Yeah, Mexico has contributed quite a bit to the sport of like a lot, though. And we're not just talking about the men. Like, yeah, we're talking about the women too. As far as the women, yeah, Barbie fights on TV, man. She fights on TV, and she fight her ass like she's one of my favorites. I love Barbie Juarez.
Have you seen Ana Maria Torres versus Jackie Nava?
I think I'm not as familiar with Jackie, admittedly.
Those two are the ones that opened everything up for the women in Mexico to start being broadcasted on national TV. They have a trilogy. Their fights are amazing. You definitely need to check them out.
All right, I'll check that one out because like when I was just researching fighters, obviously I found Barbie, and I just whole lot of fights, dog. Barbie versus like I still want her to have a rematch with Daniela Bermudez. I want her to run that back. It was a good ass fight. It's like, yo, it's mad fights. And you look here in the States and it's like, yo, dog, like this place is kind of chauvinistic. I don't want to touch no taboo subjects, but I'm like, yo, it is kind of chauvinistic.
Yeah. I mean, hey, in Mexico, like I said, in Mexico City it's women's boxing is, oh my God, it's something else. You have women in gyms every single day. There's plenty of sparring, there's fights, everything, and women, like I said, they're praised. They're looked at differently than they are here in the United States.
Yeah, verdad. Now, I guess the last question I want to ask you is it's fan stuff because I know that fighters really aren't all that worried about pound for pound lists. But besides yourself, who do you rank as the top 5 women fighters, pound for pound?
Of all time, or just like in my era right now?
Yeah, ahora, right here, right now.
Right now, oh man, I would say Amanda Serrano, Clarissa Shields, Katie Taylor. Dang, there's so many. Jessica Bob.
Yeah, I love her.
I really want to see her and Sanisa, man. It's a fight that me as a fan, I'm like, I want to see that so bad.
Yo, I have talked about that fight tantas veces en este canal, man, que like, yo sé que Jessica, she's trying for the Olympics. She qualified for the Olympics. Pero, yo, put that aside real fast so you and Sanicia, because that fight is going to be lit, dog. Like, esa pelea, Dios mío. And
I don't think she hasn't qualified yet.
No?
No, none of the girls have qualified. Nobody's qualified because the Olympic qualifiers have been postponed because of COVID.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's because I saw her with the amateur stuff on. I naturally assumed.
She won the box off there in Argentina, so she'll be the Argentina representative. But after there, you have to go to an America's qualifier, or depending on whatever it is that the IOC Olympic Committee decides to do for box off to see what the Olympic team is going to be.
Okay, so your top 5 are Amanda Serrano, 1, Clarissa Shields, 2, Katie Taylor, 3, Jessica Bob, 4, and 5. Who is 5?
Me.
I dig it. Well, look, it was a pleasure to talk to you. I would hope that I could have you on one more time, a couple more times moving forward. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much. Sulem Urbina fights out of the super flyweight division, has a professional record of 12-0, unbeaten, 2 knockouts. Look for her when all this Goldenboy COVID stuff goes away. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye-bye.